Before we get into starting chapter 12, I do just want to touch base on exam 1, which is coming up. So the test will be in person during lab on Wednesday, February 9th. So that's not next week, but the following. So next week we'll still have a normal lab, crystal biokinetics, and then we'll do the following week, February 9th, is when we will go ahead and do the test. So it'll be in place of the lab. There won't be any lab or lecture or anything that week, but you'll still come to campus and do the test. You'll have the full 2 hours. So basically, we'll start at 1. It'll be in a classroom right there. I'll post all that information as we get closer, but it'll be in a classroom right down the hall, basically around the corner from the lab room. You'll have 2 flowers. You should bring a calculator. I would prepare to have that now. Since you don't necessarily normally bring that, I would kind of maybe set a reminder in your phone. For whatever reason, it's very common to forget that, so we want to be sure you don't forget a calculator. So set a reminder to bring one of those. I will give you relevant information that will be on the test. So it'll be, paper, and basically the end of the test will have a bunch of periodic table and other useful information. It's a lot of the stuff that's been in the additional resources folders that are at the bottom of each week. Equations, constants, all that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that I'm going to be putting in there. And it will get posted to Blackboard, basically. So if this on the 2nd, so a week ahead of the test is when I will post. That will go live. You'll be able to see that. There'll be a folder. The test will cover everything we've done up to that point. So right now we're in week 3. We've finished chapter 10 and 11. We're going to also do chapter 12. All 3 of those chapters will be on the test. There won't explicitly be like questions from Gen Chem 1 on there. But there may be ideas that come over, like we've seen like stoichiometry comes up when we were talking about like heat of phase changes. So there won't be a question where it's just like do a stoichiometry calculation, but you may need to use it. But otherwise it would focus on 10, 11, 12. There will be a review that'll in the test 1 folder. Again, that folder will go live Wednesday the 2nd. And there'll be a review that you can complete for 5 bonus points. So you can add points onto your test score. You can turn that review in however you want. When you turn in the review, you'll be able to see the answers, the correct answers. So you don't need to answer it correctly in order to get full credit on the review. You just need to turn in work. And if you turn in part of it done, so if you just want to see the answers, you can turn it in blank. You won't get any points. If you do part of it, you'll get part points. If you do like a 5th, you get 1 out of 5 points, and they'll be added onto your test score just straight up. In terms of the format of the test, it'll all be free response. So it'll be enough response where you're writing. It won't be multiple choice. And so a lot of times there'll be questions where I'm just asking for a fact. You just need to give it. I put in guidance when I'm looking for more. So I'll bold words, I'll underline words. I do both. So like show your work, explain your answer. If that's not in there, you can just answer it however. If I ask, is this reaction exothermic or endothermic? You can just say exothermic. If I say explain, you need to explain your answer. Anytime there's anything numerical, I say show your work, but it's not going to know you need to show your work. Units are always required. That's part of it. We're learning these units. Do you know you're demonstrating that idea? And why I have it all be written answers is I want to see your thought process. I want to see, are you getting the right answer? One of the problems with multiple choice is you can be almost all the way right and then not get it right in the end and you lose all the points. I don't like that. And then also you can like get things right for the wrong reason. And as long as you make like 2 mistakes, sometimes they cancel out, and I don't like that. And so I want to reward the thought process. I want to see that you're on the right track, that you're doing things the correct way. In terms of studying, the biggest thing I would look at so I would do this. I would do the review because you get points for that. I would don't stop doing the class. Do the homeworks. Do the participation. Learn that stuff. Learn the chapter 12 stuff. Don't start sacrificing doing the class for the purpose of studying. You don't have any participations that week. The week 5, there's no start of the week participation, so you'll have time there to prep. You can take that time to study for the test. But I would work through the class, and then when you're going to study, reviewing the participation is going to be really useful. I write all the participations. I write the test. I don't write the homework problems. I choose those. You can also look at the last slide from each chapter in the PowerPoints. That's kind of like my study guide, if you will. Prepare your own, compare it. Anything you put a bunch of stuff on is maybe where you don't need to spend a bunch of time studying because it's what you want to be on the test. It's kind of hopeful. That's why you think it's also important. Anything you really skimp on probably means you should study on that stuff. Do the homeworks, do the review, get points on the test for that. Otherwise, you know what works best for you probably. I would, trust yourself. What has worked in the past? What hasn't worked in the past? Don't do it. If you don't work well, if it doesn't work well when you study with other people, don't study with other people. If when you're by yourself, you tend to end up online, don't study by yourself. So any of that kind of stuff, talk to your lab group. You have those people. I would see if you want to study in group or something like that. I highly encourage that. But if you have any questions, I'm also happy to help. I also like to hear how people study because then it helps. That's whenever people ask, I just give you answers for what other students have told me. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. But that's the far off week 5. Week 3, we still got to take care of. Start in chapter 12. We'll do a participation. See you in the chapter 12 videos.